Welcome to Careers in Insurance TV. My name is Ari, and today I'm joined by Fiona Fong from Marsh. Fiona, how you going today?
Good, thanks. How are you, Ari? Thanks for having me.
All right, we might start off and go way back to the beginning. You have an educational background in psychology and law. What career goals did you have before you actually decided that you wanted a career in the insurance industry?
So funny enough, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. Since year 10, I've done work experience at a law firm. So it goes to show, my whole education background was dedicated towards becoming a lawyer. And I think I had an opportunity to work in insurance as an insurance litigation lawyer. And I think it was about 2 years out post-admission when I decided, you know what, law isn't for me. I need change. And so since I had that insurance background, I decided, why not give insurance a go? And coincidentally, I had a friend who also worked in claims, gave me a lot of tips and encouragement. And so I transitioned from being a lawyer to being a claims consultant at Marsh about 5.5 years ago. And I'm still at Marsh today.
Did you have any misconceptions about joining the industry beforehand, and how did that sort of change over time?
Yeah, I think as bad as it sounds, the initial image I had of insurance was that it's for old people. I never thought of someone as myself at the time, as a graduate, quite young with limited experience, going into insurance. In general, I think insurance just wasn't something that was appealing to me, and all that negative press I think just came from more specifically personal lines type insurance and the delivery and the misconception provided by media. So look, I'm so glad I gave it a go and dived in, because like I said, 5.5 years later, I'm still around.
You've been with Marsh for over 5 years, and a little bit later in the interview, we'll get into some of the actual roles and what you've done, because there's a lot of room to move, obviously, in the insurance industry. But can you give us a little bit of background for people that don't know? What does Marsh actually do, and what sort of organisation are they?
Yeah. So Marsh is a risk management company. Essentially, if I can phrase it for a layperson term, we're brokers. Essentially, we will assess the risk for our clients. We will work with the market in obtaining the best policy, which will be a right fit for the client based on the risk management assessment we performed, and essentially place the policy on their behalf. You've got a lot of different opportunities. We've got a whole dedicated marketing team. We've got a whole dedicated advisory team with forensic accountants, analysts. I myself, I'm a claims handler. So you can imagine just sharing some of these opportunities, that there's just unlimited career paths that you can take even within one company like Marsh.
Yeah, and you're a global organisation, headquarters in New York, in 130 countries you have employees. For students thinking about joining the industry, has your career with Marsh actually taken you or given you opportunities to travel, work? And where in the world can a career with Marsh or in the industry take you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question. I think, Ari, you're spot on when you sort of provide the statistics behind how large Marsh is as an organisation. Opportunities are unlimited. We've got offices around the world, so there are definitely plenty of chances to travel. Obviously not right now with COVID, but we've had plenty of colleagues who have transitioned roles globally, so moved to, for example, Canada, US or the UK.
Yeah, and that probably is a good segue into the next question. You're 5 years with Marsh, you've held a number of different roles. You started as a claims consultant. What are some of your most memorable experiences and also challenges that you faced in your role?
Yeah, I think what I love about claims is there's challenges popping up every day. And the emphasis around claims is a lot on client management and helping them resolve an issue, being that first point of call and solving the problems when they actually arise. So, I mean, it may sound negative because let's be honest, they won't really approach you until something bad happens. But at the same time, I see myself as their advocate, their guardian angel. I'm there to help and respond when an incident occurs. I've transitioned across different lines as well, from liability, property to marine to financial lines. And I guess I'm currently in my role as a cyber incident manager and claims lead for Marsh Pacific. I'm working on some extremely high profile, complex cyber matters, and I dare say to date that they are one of the most interesting matters that I've worked on. So to answer your question, Ari, I would also say they're the most memorable.
Yeah, and I can't imagine any day would be the same in your role, but if you were to sort of narrow it down, tell us a little bit more about your current role and the day in the life of Fiona Fong.
Every day changes, varies, no 2 days the same. My title, I mean, it's fancy as long as it sounds. Essentially, I'm doing two things, incident response management and managing claims. I guess just to give you a feel of what my day looks like. So yesterday I was back in the office. I'd get in, have a cup of coffee, catch up on all my emails that's come through overnight. I might get some queries from clients, brokers about policy interpretation or issues with claims that might crop up and I need to address. Might then have some conferences with various lawyers, clients, loss adjusters that are involved on claims that I'm managing. And yesterday was also quite unique. Towards the afternoon, I also had to run a workshop that we prepared on ransomware and delivered it to the client. And it was extremely interesting because ransomware is such a hot topic at the moment, and it's something that's on the forefront on a lot of clients' minds. And so it was fantastic being able to be in a position to utilise the experience that the Marsh team here Marsh Cyber team have, and to really share that with the client and educate them on what they can do, and if a claim arose, what the process involves.
Yeah, are you finding a lot more organisations are actually focusing on cyber a lot more now, especially because we've gone virtual and the risk for bad things happening, especially to organisations in the cyberspace, is always increasing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, even back in 2017, I think, when I wrote an essay for the Turks Legal Scholarship, it was on handling cyber claims. And looking back on it, at the time, there was rarely any information I could rely upon. Now, I remember trying to research on cyber claims, but there was just nothing that really popped up or talked about the cyber claims process. But now, with the increase of cyber claims and matters, obviously with COVID, threat actors taking advantage of the situation, more people working from home, there's so much more material out there, and it goes to show how much more emphasis we all are placing on the topic cyber.
I've obviously won a number of awards, including the Turks Legal ANZIIF Claims Scholarship and also the ANZIIF Young Insurance Professional of the Year Award in 2018. How beneficial, was it to win those awards and be recognised by industry? And how passionate are you about your own career development?
I'm extremely passionate about my career development. You know, a lot of people after winning the awards would say, "Oh, wow, congrats, Fiona, that's amazing." And they don't actually see the, considerations, the hard work put behind it. For example, into the essay, even when you send your application in to substantiate why you're fit for such an award, I suppose, you really got to think about all the things you've done throughout your career. And for me, I place a lot of emphasis not just in my immediate company, whether I do the role well, that's obviously a huge factor, but also on contributing to the insurance industry as a whole. And I'm really passionate not just about my own career progression, but also for other young professionals as well.
Yeah, definitely. And if you were to give advice to someone thinking about joining the industry, or someone who's just a career starter and they're in an entry level role, what advice would you give to them in terms of focusing on your professional development and career?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for the students who are keen on exploring the insurance industry, I would say do a lot of research and try and understand what different companies do, what roles are available within the company. Don't limit yourself to your degree or discipline. Think outside the box. So, for example, I shared my experience of studying law. I've always wanted to be a lawyer, and it was honestly by chance that I fell into insurance. But it goes to show that opportunities are limitless. You just have to find them. So do a lot of research, network, talk to people in the industry, and make your own, I guess, assessment on the role that you think would best fit yourself and one that you want to build your career upon.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great answer. And I know that we were talking just before about being engaged with the actual industry, and that's outside of your role, obviously. This includes sitting on ANZIIF Generation I Council, where we talk about current topics and hot topics of the industry and how we can actually retain and increase talent in the insurance industry. And you've volunteered for a number of events as well. What makes you so passionate about the insurance industry?
I think it's being able to open people's eyes up on what's available in the insurance industry, being able to change people's opinion, just like myself when I first stepped into the industry, having a very negative, stereotypical view of what the industry is like, being able to educate people about that and helping them grow. I find that very rewarding. And specifically, I'm involved this year with the Rising Star workshop as well. That will take place in April. And, I've been involved for the last last year, because COVID it happened last year and the event was cancelled. But I was involved with the event in 2019. And I just love, being able to receive positive feedback from fellow colleagues on how beneficial these programs that I've personally helped put together are. And I mean, there's not just that altruistic component. Obviously, personally as well, I learn a lot through the process. It helps me understand, what's the latest topic that all young professionals want to learn about, or people in the industry want to know about. It's my opportunity as well to network with people in the industry. And, it goes without saying that insurance is all about building relationships. So that's what I'm passionate about. And I suppose that's also why I love my job.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those who don't know what the Rising Stars event is, you've obviously had a major part in the committee in putting that together. What is the Rising Stars event, and why should young insurance professionals go?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So Rising Star workshop are for, I guess, professionals who would like to take the next step in their career. It's obviously a lot of time these topics aren't explored during your day-to-day job. A lot of colleagues I find have unanswered questions. How can I progress my career? Or what should I be doing now to build myself up and really build my career upon, so that I can obtain, for example, a promotion or get to a leadership role. And these workshops really help flesh out these burning questions that all these colleagues may have unanswered. And we draw upon industry experience. We have fellow leaders within the industry sharing as well their story on how they got to where they are. And so it's very knowledgeable. We try to also make it very practical. So it's not just a let's sit down and listen to other people talk. We try to incorporate a practical component. For example, in 2019, we had a mini pitching competition.
I'm going to say, I do remember the pitch that everyone did on that.
It was amazing. We were mind blown by how solid everyone's pitching skills were. And this year, again, nothing set in concrete, but if I can give a bit of a teaser, we found that a lot of professionals don't know how to handle difficult conversations. So a bit of emphasis this year will be practical workshop potentially on how to handle difficult conversations, discussions, be it with fellow colleagues, with your employer, or your client.
There you go. We've just given everyone a little bit of a scoop there. That's good.
I feel like I'm doing some shameless plugging, but...
All right, we might get to the last question, Fiona. So in terms of your career personally, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I know it can be a scary thought sometimes thinking that far down the track, but...
It is. Look, I think I have always envisioned myself to hopefully be in a leadership role such as a chief claims officer, and that's only because I'm quite passionate about claims. But now that I've transitioned across various lines, I've also moved into the cyber team, doing a lot of incident response management. I've realised I don't want to limit myself into and pigeonhole myself into where I want to be. I love claims, want to keep doing it, but if other opportunities arise, I'm more than ready to utilise the skills that I have now and transition into that role. So look, for myself personally, I'm just happy continually upskilling, learning, challenging myself, and hopefully in 10 years be in some sort of leadership role where I can give back and be training the next generation of young leaders.
100%. And hopefully, yeah, we might be able to do this interview again in 10 years' time. And
you bring up this recording.
I will see. All right, everyone, that's a wrap for today. Fiona, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Ari. Thanks for your time. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye now.